Hey guys, welcome to week 6 of the Write Your Dream Book in 90 Days series. You have finished Act 1. How crazy is that? Because you are 1/3 of the way through your books. That is insane. I hope you are loving this process. Writing is like a drug to me. I cannot live without it. I have 3 points for you today on how to start writing Act 2, which is our task for this week, which is super exciting. Act 2 is like the beef and the bones of the middle of your book, probably the longest part of your book, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in the middle of the story, right? You've introduced your conflict in Act 1, and all of Act 2 is figuring out how to deal with it and leading up to the most tension at the end of your book. So basically for Act 2, the entire time we are just building this huge conflict. So the first thing you're doing in Act 1 is you have set up for this at the end of Act 1. You have everything clear, so now your character is going to be trying to solve the problem that they have. So whatever was set up in Act 1, whatever your internal conflict brought to the story, your character is now trying to solve that problem, because this is their greatest problem in life, is this internal conflict coming from the inciting incident, and they are trying to fix this the easiest way possible, because that is the human brain. You are fixing it the easiest way possible, right? So I'm going to use my own book again. So in my latest novel, All My Fault, the main conflict is that Triss's sister has gone missing after being gone for a year. Triss knew where she was, and after being gone for a year, and Triss being the only person that knew, she is now vanished from everybody around her, from the place that she worked. Nobody can find her sister. And so Triss has to find her sister. So starting of Act 2, after we realize that Raylan is missing, is the inciting incident. Raylan has gone missing, and she now has a colleague. So her and her colleague are working to try and find her sister, obviously. So Act 2 is making game plans, trying to figure out how we can find Raylan. So that's what you need to do in your Act 2, is you are going to be trying to figure out how your characters can solve whatever problem there is in their life, all while running from the main internal conflict, right? Because we don't just want the outside stuff, we want the inside stuff as well, obviously. Okay, this is probably my favorite part. This is number 2. Let your main character fail at solving the problem. Your character isn't just chasing after it and succeeding and slowly getting closer. They are chasing after it and continuously falling back and failing, which is adding to the tension, because how is this going to pan out if my character keeps failing? Like, if they're failing, they can't get their goal, right? So in All My Fault, they go to a building where they think Raylan could be several times, and several times they are unsuccessful and their missions are failed. But at the same time as they're failing, they are growing from those failures and slowly getting closer. So they're failing, and the tension is still rising and rising and rising, because all of Act 2 is building up to the huge climax at Act 3, which Act 3 is probably my favorite to write because of all of the tension that has been building up throughout the entire book. It is absolutely insane. It is my favorite. When you get to Act 3, that is probably the fastest you will ever write, because you are just going at it because of all this tension. If you have that tension and you feel that tension, your reader is going to feel that tension. So, number 3. After trying and failing several times, this is an optional one, but your character turns and runs completely. They turn from the thing that they're afraid of and they take off running. After trying and failing, they realize, you know what, this is pointless, and they run away. Because what else do you do when you face your fear? When you come face to face with your fear, unless you're like superhuman, you run away. When I come face to face with a spider, I run away. So your characters are not superhuman. I mean, unless you're writing like a Marvel book. I'm not a Marvel person. Unless you're writing a superhero book, your characters probably will not face their fears head on the very first try. They will probably turn and go running because they're scared, like a normal human being. Those are all 3 tips. So as a recap, the first thing your characters are going to do is try and solve the problem the easiest way they can, avoiding their fear. So Triss tries to find Raylan from a distance because she's scared of getting hurt, obviously, right? So your characters are going to try and solve the problem, and they are going to fail. And at number 3, your characters can turn and run away completely, or something to that effect. They don't have to like flee the state or something. This can be a mental thing. This can be an external thing. Your characters just have to run from the thing that they are afraid of, because that's what the human thing is to do. If you were coming face to face with your fear in real life, you would probably try to figure out how to run if all of your attempts to solve it weren't working. That is the norm. That is all that I have for you for this week. Those are your 3 things to write into your beginning of Act 2 this week, and I hope that you guys completely crush it. I know you will completely crush it because you already finished Act 1 in 6 weeks. So keep going, have a great week, and write your heart out.